I had to write a $10,000 check because I left my job too soon. Before that, I financed a $3,000 car loan with double-digit interest rate. And somewhere in between, I drove without car insurance and ended up paying over $1,000 for it. Altogether, almost $15,000 gone. And the worst part, I thought I was being responsible every time. Let me show you what I mean. The first mistake didn't feel like a mistake at all. It started with a $6,000 car. Aaliyah and I found a solid used car for about 6 grand, and we had about $3,000 to put down in cash. In our minds, that felt responsible. At the time, I was thinking, we're putting half down, we found something affordable, and this isn't going to drain our savings. So when the salesman said, you can just finance the other 3,000, we didn't push back, we didn't question it, we just nodded. I had just graduated college, I was early in my career, and we had just moved out of my grandparents' house. Money was tight, so even a small monthly payment added pressure. And we signed for a double-digit interest rate. Over 4 years, that meant hundreds in interest, paying $4,000 for a $3,000 gap. We locked our future income into a depreciating asset. But here's what's embarrassing. It didn't feel dumb at the time. In my head, I was thinking, we got a manageable payment, we got a deal, and I even told a friend about it like we won. A week later, we mentioned it to my mom. You did what? And 10 minutes later, we were in the car heading back to the same dealership. I will never forget the salesman's face when my mom walked in behind us. She helped us pay down the rest of that $3,000 loan, and we ended it right there. When they focus on the monthly payment, they're redirecting your attention. The real cost is interest. Financing isn't convenient. It's profitable for them. That mistake would have cost us an extra $1,000. The next one cost me 10,000. I worked for a job that offered tuition assistance. I knew I wanted to go back to school and get a degree in data analytics. At the time, I was thinking, this is how you move up, use the benefit, this is how you increase your income. I went through the program and graduated, I got reimbursed, and eventually I found a job where I could utilize my new degree. So I put in my notice, and a few days later, I got an email. I thought it was just going to be one of those standard exit interviews. No, it was a bill for $10,000. That's when I remembered the clawback clause. If you leave too soon after you get reimbursed for your tuition, you have to pay that money back. I remember thinking, oh, they'll never enforce that. I'll be fine. It definitely wasn't fine. I owed $10,000. If there's an employer benefit that involves tuition reimbursement, always assume there are strings attached. And if you're ever in this situation, don't panic. Use it as leverage. Try to negotiate something with your new job. Maybe they can help offset the payment. At least ask. The worst they can do is say no. That one hurt. Hurt financially, hurt my pride a little bit, but I still hadn't learned the biggest lesson yet. Because the final mistake wasn't about contracts, it was about risk. I got into a car accident. It wasn't my fault, but I didn't have car insurance. So it didn't matter who was at fault. I had to pay over $1,000. Back then, I was still trying to build up my 1 month emergency fund. That $1,000 wasn't just some small inconvenience. It was a big deal, and it was destabilizing. And here's the pattern. I was optimizing the small expenses while ignoring the catastrophic risk. Picture your net worth like a castle. Insurance is the moat. Don't drain your moat to try and save $120 a month. One unexpected hit can breach the wall. Insurance isn't just a legal requirement, it's a wealth shield. Now for the bonus mistake, the cost of waiting. If I could sit down with my 18-year-old self, I'd tell him two things. Open a high yield savings account and open a brokerage account immediately. Not to get rich, just to give your money somewhere to land. When extra hours hit your paycheck, you get birthday money, you underspend for the month. Don't let it disappear. Direct it. Because waiting doesn't feel expensive. It feels harmless. I'll start next year. I'll invest when I make more. I'll figure it out later. And later quietly turns into years, and years turns into regret. I had the money, I just didn't direct it. A car loan I didn't understand, a contract I didn't take seriously, a risk I didn't protect against, and years I delayed investing. 4 mistakes, thousands in direct costs, a mindset that kept saying, this is fine, it wasn't. If you want to see exactly how we structure our money today to avoid each of these traps, click the video on your screen. We break down our budget, our system, and our net worth. I'll see you over there.